So in 2021, I'm simplifying my bag. I've got a judge, another judge, another judge, another judge, another one, and I've got 5 judges in blue plastic. And then I've got 5 escapes. So welcome back to PoorBoy Disc Golf. And in all seriousness, I'm not going to have that many judges in my bag. Escapes? Maybe. I like the escape. But we're going to be, I'm going to show you what's in my bag this year. I'm going to be using the Dynamic Disc Paratrooper. I got it in the blue. As you can see, it's a little bit muddy. I had a tournament last weekend and it was muddy. Like, to say the least, it was muddy. But I'm going to show you the disc that I'm going to be bagging this year. It might change later in the year, I don't know yet, but these are what I went with my first tournament. So it's probably what's going to stay in the bag. I'll do another video in the future about all the other stuff that I'm going to take and everything. So we'll get into it with the putters, and then we'll do the mid-ranges, and then we'll do the drivers. So first up, we got the putters. Out of these, I carry 2 driving putters, a upshot putter, and my 2 putting putters. Now my off the tee putters, my driving putters, I have a Deputy from Dynamic Disc. It's sitting at 175 grams. Now this disc is the one where I throw it, it goes to the right. It's way overstable the way I throw it. It goes to the right consistently. So if I need to go to the right, avoid trees or whatever, I go to my Deputy. Now if I want a straight shot that ends to the left, I go with my Dynamic Disc Slammer. This one is sitting at, let me find it. Oh, it doesn't have a weight on it. I think it's in the 170s. I'm pretty sure, but it's in the I'm pretty sure the Lucid plastic. The Deputy is in the Lucid plastic, but it's got, I don't know if it's a blend or maybe it's a fusion, I don't know, but it's a tournament stamped one. But this one, it had a tournament stamp on it, and I went ahead and wiped it and then did a little spin dye. I've had this in the bag for this, I think, my 3rd year throwing this. But yeah, it's really good straight thrower, and if I need something to go straight and ends to the left, that's what I go for. Now if I want something that goes off the tee pad and goes to the left, I reach for my Westside Disc Harp. Now this is sitting at 175 grams. This disc right off the bat, like for upshot, I know that this is going to finish left. This is really overstable. Turn of 0 and a fade of 3, so this thing goes to the left for me because I always use it for an upshot. Maybe later in the year I'm going to try to get one in the more premium plastic and try it for a off the tee pad driver putter. But yeah, I use this. It's in the BT medium burst too, so it's got a little flex to it, so if I hit a tree, it's not going to go zipping away. It's going to kind of stay around it. This came really handy so far this year for my upshots. I can also put this on an anhyzer, but it's still going to finish to the left, just like it's supposed to. Now my 2 putting putters are the Classic Blend Judge and the Classic Judge. Love these discs. Usually it was the Classic I used. I also got a couple more that I used that's in the Classic, but they don't have the regular stamp. They're a tournament stamp that's been kind of wiped. But these are my 2 go-to putters. The Blend is a little bit more flexible. I'll use it if I'm going to run something. If I'm going to go that distance, I'm going to run like a 40-footer or longer. This is what I'll go for compared to the Classic, because when this hits something, it's less likely to go, zipping off the other way. It'll kind of stay in that same direction. Plus, for some reason, this Blend plastic's a little bit more grippier, so I know it's not going to go rolling or skipping away. All right, so next up we got the mid-ranges. These are my go-tos whenever it comes to wooded holes, wooded courses. If I'm like my arm's hurting really bad, I don't want to try to put the big arm into a driver, I go with my mid-ranges. First up is the Latitude 64 Fuse. Now, this is in their gold line, sitting at 176 grams. It's supposed to be a stable mid-range, but I turn this over every single time. It goes to the right and it stays to the right. I use it as my understable mid-range. Ever since I got this, it's been in the bag. You know, it was sent to me by a fan, and it's went in the bag from that very first throw because it's something that I can use. It goes consistently. It turns over to the right and it never comes back, and that's what I use it for. I use it for kind of similar as my deputy. This is my mid-range where it goes to the right. If I need to go to the right, dog leg, need to go right around a tree, this is what I use. Next up is the Dynamic Disc Bounty. Now I do carry it in two of them. This one was from the Trilogy Challenge last year. It's sitting at 177 grams. This is one I picked up this year. It's sitting at 172 grams. The Bounty is one of those that I can snake it through the woods. It's got a good turn of negative 1.5 and a fade of 0.5. So it'll go to the right, but then it'll come back to the left just a little bit. So this is what I use whenever I really want to get a flex line. I want it to go through trees, you know, and to kind of be more of a control. I know if I throw this off the tee, it's going to stay pretty much straight whenever it lands off the tee, you know. Unless I throw it at a weird angle. Even if I throw it at a hyzer, it's still gonna set up, turn over, and then it's gonna fade just a little bit. If I turn it on an hyzer, it's gonna turn over really big, but then it's gonna flatten out and fade just a little bit. So that's why I love the Bounty. Ever since the Trilogy Challenge last year, it's been in the bag, and I had to get another one. Lucid plastic. It would be cool if they started doing this like in the Biofusion and stuff like that. You know, it'd be a little bit better. I need to, I think that they were supposed to make some of these in the prime plastic eventually. So it would be cool to get it in a little bit grippier plastic. So yeah, I absolutely love these. They skip too. They'll kind of skip at the end just a little bit, but it's more of like a flat skip. So it gives you just that little bit extra feed at the end. But yeah, I absolutely love the Bounty. Next up is more of my stable to overstable, depending on how much I throw it, and that is the Latitude 64 Compass. This has got the hand-eye stamp. This is a replacement from last year. Last year, during one of the tournaments, I threw my compass up in a tree, and it's been there ever since because it's too tall to get at, and I just haven't, you know, been back to the course to look for it. You know, I love the compass. I could throw it straight, and then it has that fade at the end that I like. Can really get on it too, and it will do a little flex, but it's going to stay pretty much straight and end with the fade to the left. So that's why I really like this. It's not a big fade, but it's enough where if I throw it on one side of the wooded course, like a tunnel, it'll go to the, you know, I can throw it flat on the tunnel, and then it'll kind of fade off to the other side. So that way, if it's a dog leg to the right, I have a straight shot, and if it's a dog leg to the left, I can throw a big old hyzer with the harp and usually get it pretty close. But yeah, this is the compass. So last but certainly not least is my Dynamic Disc Biofusion Justice. This is a very overstable mid-range, and that's exactly what I use it for. It's sitting at 173 grams. The Biofusion lets it skip too. It's real slippery. You know, when it hits the ground, it's going to skip just a little bit. But this will go right out of my hand. It goes to the left. It fades over really hard. You know, turn of 0.5 and a fade of 4. Now that right there, I don't even think it's 0.5. It's probably 0, or maybe a negative 0.5. This thing is really overstable. I like to throw this as an upshot mid-range too, or if I got to go around a tree, I can. I also use this for a roller. Sometimes I'll throw it with a big hyzer and it'll hit and it'll roll. Usually if it's downhill, I'll just use it as a roller. Haven't really used it for anything but that. Don't like to drive off the tee pad with it unless it's a really bad dog leg to the left. Then I will. But if I need a disc to go left, I reach for my Justice. All right, so next up is my drivers. They're all fairway drivers. I usually carry 7. Sometimes I'll throw in 8 or I'll throw an extra one in or 2 to make it 8 or 9 fairway drivers, but this is what I use. For my really understable drives, I use Dynamic Disc Witness. Now this is sitting at 156 grams. It's in the Lucid Air plastic. This disc goes to the right and it never comes back. I throw it on a hyzer, it'll flatten out, but it still goes to the right. You know, this is the one disc I can chunk, but it'll go to the right. Sometimes it goes to the right too quick and it turns into a roller. But yeah, this is, I've been trying to throw this a little bit more this year. Picked this up late last year and been trying to work with this to get a little bit better. Now, another understable disc that I got is the Westside Disc Underworld. Now this is a disc that I could turn over. It goes to the right and then it'll flatten out and then it'll land. It's a really good disc. This is actually the disc I can throw the farthest out of all of them. Well, the one I've measured anyways. This is went over 270. Can't remember how much over 270, but it's went over 270 feet. It's a really good disc. I absolutely love it. It's in the tournament burst plastic, so it's a little bit more on the premium plastic side. It's sitting at, let me find it. It's 170 grams. So it's right there in between light and heavy. So it's that really good sweet spot from 170 to 175 that I like. But yeah, this is a really good understable disc and I love this disc. I've got another one that I picked up originally and it was just too pretty to keep throwing. So I went and got a used one and I kind of did a little spin die on it, which it's kind of messed up a little bit since then because it's been in the bag for over a year now. And absolutely love throwing this disc, especially if it's a wide open hole where there's no trees to hit and it's really calm, or even in the wind. This has got enough weight to where it will go pretty good with the wind. Next up is one of my more stable drivers, and that is a Dynamic Disc Breakout. Now I do got a one in the Prime that I use out here in my yard for practice. It is an understable driver, but I usually throw this on a hyzer, so it's pretty stable for me. If I put a little bit too much oomph into it, it goes to the right and it doesn't come back as good. But it's one of my more stable that I throw with a hyzer. It's sitting at 158 grams, so it is on the light side. So you know, if I don't feel like giving it a really big arm, like getting really behind it, I'll usually go with this one. And it'll go out there, it'll go to the right just a little bit, then it'll come back, it'll fade to the left a little bit. But yeah, I did a really cool lotion dye on this one last year, and it's unfortunately it's kind of picked up some black off of one of these other discs because I didn't let them sit very long because I was trying to hurry them up back when I just starting out dyeing disc. But yeah, really cool disc and everything. I absolutely love this disc whenever it's real calm. I don't really like my arms hurting because I've been throwing all day. I'll reach for this and it'll get me the distance that I need. Now another one that's basically the same disc that I like to throw for a stable is Latitude 64 River. This is in the Opto plastic. I'll throw this one if I think I need to find it better, because sometimes this red, you won't be able to see it as clear as you will the pink, especially if it's tall grass or in the leaves. So I like throwing this. It's a stable driver for me. It's sitting at 175 grams, so it's right there in that sweet spot that I like. I could actually probably rip this one a little bit better, and it will, you know, it'll do the flex line. It'll go to the right pretty good, and then it'll come back to the left a little bit. I really like this disc for a stable shot. It's kind of like the breakout, you know. If my arm isn't feeling up to it, and I don't want to just try to rip it as fast and as hard as I can, you know, I'll reach for one of these, and I just won't throw it as hard, and just let the disc do what it does, and that is to go a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. Even though it does that, it still goes straight. So next up, I carry two of the same disc, the Dynamic Disc Escape. I carry one in the Moonshine and one in the Fusion plastic. I also have a Lucid one that is a backup, and also have another Fusion that's in backup that was dyed by the same guy. Buddy of mine, Big Sal, dyed this one, and he dyed my other one. I keep the other one in the van for backup. That way, you know, if something was to happen, I was to lose one out on the course, get stuck in a tree, and I don't have a way to get it out, you know, I can go to the van in between rounds, and I can pick the other one up and still go out and throw. So this one is the Moonshine one. It's sitting at 169 grams, so it is on that little bit of a light side. But since it's Moonshine, it will finish to the left a little bit more. It's just a little bit, I mean little bit more overstable than the other ones. But I love the feel of this plastic. Love putting this out there. It'll go straight. It'll sit up straight, and then it goes to the left like it's supposed to. It has that little left fade at the end. Just like with the Fusion. This one I can actually get it to turn over just a little bit, and then it'll come back. I know it's supposed to turn -1 and fade 2, but that's probably about what I can throw it at right now. If I put a little bit more into it, it will turn over just a little bit more, but it has a nice fade at the end that I can consistently get every time I throw this. The only time that the Escape doesn't do what it's supposed to is if I either grip lock it too hard or I let it go too quick. Just absolutely love the Escape. If there was one disc I couldn't live without, that would be this one. It's one of my go-to. I absolutely love the Escape. I'm probably going to start looking for some more this year, so I have a couple more backups, and maybe try to find one that's maybe on the real heavy side. This one's sitting at 173. Now I do have one in the Lucid Air plastic that I will bust out if it's real calm, and I know it's an open course, and I can just chunk the heck out of it. It will turn over, it will do a flex line and everything. So last but certainly not least is my overstable driver, and that is a Dynamic Disc Felon. Now this is in the Lucid Air plastic. It's in the bag right now. I do have a Fusion, or yeah, it's a Fusion plastic in the house that I need to bring and put it in the van or put it in the bag, because on those windy days I'll throw a Felon. It's one of my go-tos if it's windy, or if I need it to go to the left. You know, if I need it to fade right out of the get-go, this is what I turn to. You know, I can throw this, it doesn't turn over for me at all. It goes straight, and then it goes to the left. You know, it fades really hard. It gets to the ground quick. This will also, in the mud, will tombstones. That's why I kind of like throwing it a little bit better. Especially if it's a dog leg to the left, I'll throw this out there, and it'll hit hard, and it won't skip. That's one thing I love about this, the way I throw it, is it will not skip. When it hits, it'll usually stay right there, because it's hit at such an angle, hard angle. But yeah, love the Fusion, or the Felon. So that wraps it up. Hope you like all the discs that I have in the bag. Now, if those discs stay in the rest of the year, who knows? I'm gonna try to go out and try to throw a little bit more. I'm after the first tournament, you know, I didn't do as good as I thought I would. There's a lot of stuff I got to work on still, especially my nerves. My nerves were I was just so anxious and doing just stupid throws, stuff that I know I shouldn't do, but yet I did it anyways. So yeah, I'm gonna get out, take these discs out a little bit more this year, throw a little bit more casual rounds, more practice rounds. Try to get out in the field, do some field work with these, and you know, just see what I can add to it or take away. And you know, it's a pretty good lineup. I like a lot of discs I just absolutely love is in this bag. Some of them not so much. They could be replaced, but more than likely 90% of them is going to stay. They might get some even added to it, or if I find the same disc but it's in a different plastic, I might go to the different plastic. Just kind of the way I am. I will do a video on all the other stuff that I carry in my bag in a future video, so that way you can see like all the stuff I carry with it. But if you like the video, hit that like button. If you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. And as always, this is PoorBoy reminding you to play the sport and grow the sport that is disc golf. Thanks for watching.